Good morning, this is Sarah, your healthy carnivore in the UK. Can humans digest meat, specifically red meat? Now, I know there's a big myth around the vegan community that humans can't process any meat in our gut area. And I would like to give you some insight into why I believe it to be a nonsense myth. And anyone, I know that Kent Carnivore can relate to this. Anyone that's had any personal experience with a stoma bag, or and if you don't know what a stoma bag is, that is a bag that's attached to the outside of your body to collect waste if you don't have a fully functioning gut, or you have parts of your gut missing. I think many of us have seen the film Beverly Hills Cop, especially people of my age and above. And in that film, we see those two police officers sitting in the car, and one of them says, well, by the time somebody's a certain age, you've got 2 or 3 pounds of rotting red meat in your gut. It's a myth. It's ridiculous to think that the red meat's going to sit there, but until you've actually had a bit of insight physically and, you know, visually seeing things, it's hard to prove it. Now, my mother, as you know, she passed away last year with multiple problems, but she had a bowel resection done. I can't remember exactly which year it was now. It was around 2021. She missed out on further operations, and that's what contributed to her death. But I'm not going to get controversial here. I'm just discussing her bowel operation and the fact that she opted. She had a choice of having no bowel control whatsoever, or have a stoma bag fitted to her stomach, and she can have her food exiting that way. And it's not until you have a stoma bag that you truly understand which foods digest and which foods don't. And she was fascinated. I mean, I already had a really good idea about what happens with food when you've got a much shortened stomach bowel area, because I was very fascinated by a story that I read years ago. That I'm hoping to find the article. It was written by someone called Wolverine, and he actually had a stoma bag, a quite high up stoma bag, about as high as it gets, where the food hasn't even begun to even think about digesting. If I can find that article, if it still exists, I'm going to pop a link in the description. Hopefully it will be there. But he had a situation where his stoma bag was right at the very top of his digestive tract. So food got through his stomach and then went straight into the bag. What were his findings? His findings were that meat completely and utterly had dissolved by the time it hit the stoma bag, but vegetables and plant matter hadn't. So for the vegans that say we can digest plant food very happily, but meat gets stuck there, well, until you've seen and witnessed what it's like to deal with a stoma bag, you really are just trusting the science. You're trusting the science because you don't really know, do you? Because you're not seeing it with your eyes. I've seen it with my eyes. I had to help my mum with her stoma bag on numerous occasions, and especially towards the end of her life, she wasn't able to deal with her stoma bag at all, so I was dealing with it on my own. And I can tell you, she was absolutely fascinated by the foods that used to end up in her stoma bag, and over time she did start to eat a lot less seeds and certain vegetables, like obviously sweet corn. We all know we can see that in the toilet the next day, don't we? And it's a bit of a disgusting video, but you know, this is my opinion. Can we digest meat? Let's see. She definitely did start to eat less of the plant foods that we are told are healthy, because they were not digesting. They were causing her grief as they were exiting out her stoma hole into her bag. If this video is squeamish for you and it's making you feel disgusting, I'm not going to apologise, because I think this myth needs to be squashed. I get sick and tired of people saying, you know, if you're a carnivore, I'd like to see your blood work and I'd like to see the inside of your colon. Well, You're not going to get to see the inside of my colon, and I'm probably never going to see the inside of my colon, and I'm pretty happy with that. I'm planning to not ever have a stoma bag myself. I believe that if I eat consistently meat, exclusively meat that just dissolves, I will never need a stoma bag. Quote me on that if you like. Come back and see me in 10 years' time. See how I'm doing. I think you'll find I still don't have a stoma bag. Okay. But, you know, she could see that meat would... There was no traces that she'd ever eaten meat in this stoma bag, but there were certainly traces of seeds and nuts and sweet corn and other vegetables and plant material right there, all disgustingly in that bag. So my opinion is, check out some videos from Kent Carnivore. That's Kent, K-E-N-T, Carnivore. He can tell you categorically himself in many of his videos that meat digests beautifully in the stomach. By the time it gets to, you know, being removed from the body, it's gone. But all the vegetables and plant material and seeds and nuts and fibrous materials, they are still some of them have changed a little bit, but I think you get where I'm going with this. Hopefully I'm going to find that little article by Wolverine and put it in my description. I read this article many years ago, and so whenever I do see the Beverly Hills Cop movie and they talk about undigested meat in the gut, I just laugh. You know, it's just funny. It's just ridiculous, because so many, I believed it. When I very first saw that film years ago, I believed that to be true. And there's probably a lot of people that have seen that movie and read other articles that just believe it. Oh, by the time you're 50, you've got a couple of pounds of undigested meat in your gut. No, not possible, not true, not true. Not true as I see it anyway. So, this just leaves me to say, eat your meat, drink your water, and have a bloody brilliant day digesting your meat beautifully. You take care, bye.